Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 6 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Boston Celtics and Houston Rockets. The Boston Celtics are rolling into Houston after grinding out a hard-fought win over the Minnesota Timberwolves, but let's be real, this isn't an ideal setup for them. Back-to-backs are never easy, especially when you're facing a squad like the Rockets, who've been nearly untouchable on their home court this season. Boston's got the talent, no doubt, but this matchup has trap game written all over it. The Celtics leaned heavily on Jason Tatum last night, and the man delivered, dropping 33 points with 6 triples. Derek White also stepped up big, knocking down 5 threes to help seal the win. But here's the kicker. Boston lives and dies by the 3-ball. They're firing up over 50 attempts a game, which is wild, and they've hit 20-plus threes in 4 of their last 5 games. That kind of volume can overwhelm most teams, but Houston's defense might have something to say about it. The Rockets are elite at running shooters off the arc, so the Celtics will need to get creative to find their rhythm. On the flip side, Houston has quietly built one of the nastiest defenses in the league. They're holding teams to just 103.4 points per 100 possessions, which is ridiculous. Ime Udoka's got them locked in, and you can see his fingerprints all over this group. They're scrappy, physical, and play with a chip on their shoulder. Plus, they've got that home court swagger. They're 12-5 at the Toyota Center, and you know they'll be feeding off the crowd's energy. What I love about the Rockets is how balanced they are. No one's putting up crazy scoring numbers, but they've got 7 guys averaging between 11 and 19 points. It's a true team effort, and when you pair that with their hustle on the boards, it's easy to see why they've been so tough to beat. Offensive rebounding is their bread and butter, and that could be a problem for Boston, who's been shaky on the glass, especially with Porzingis sidelined. Now, I've got to say, this is going to be a grinded-out kind of game. The Celtics are banged up, Jaylen Brown's status is still up in the air, and the fatigue from last night's battle with Minnesota isn't going to help. If Boston comes out flat or struggles to adjust to Houston's physicality, this could get dicey. The Rockets, on the other hand, need to keep this game at their pace. If they let Boston get into a rhythm and start raining threes, it's game over. But if Houston can slow things down, control the boards, and force the Celtics into tough shots, they've got a real shot. Personally, I think this one's going to be more of a defensive chess match than an offensive shootout. The under feels like this smart play here. Both teams are near the bottom of the league in pace, and the Rockets aren't exactly lighting it up on offense. Plus, the under has hit in 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two squads, and I don't see that trend changing tonight. If I had to bet, I'd say this game stays under 222 points. Houston's defense and Boston's road-weary legs make it hard to see this turning into a high-scoring affair. Let's see how it plays out, but I'm riding with the under here.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the New York Knicks and Oklahoma City Thunder. 2 of the league's hottest squads are about to collide as the Knicks roll into OKC to face the Thunder, and honestly, this one has all the makings of a classic. New York has been scorching, racking up a 24-10 record and riding a 9-game heater. It's the kind of streak that makes you stop and pay attention, especially with how they're getting it done. Jalen Brunson is out here looking like an MVP candidate, dropping buckets and controlling the tempo like it's second nature. Add Karl Anthony Towns, who's been a monster on the boards and a scoring machine, plus Mikal Bridges stepping up in clutch moments, and the Knicks are suddenly playing some of the best basketball in the league. But let's not sleep on OKC. They've been just as nasty, sitting at the top of the West and winning 13 of their last 15 games. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been absolutely unstoppable, putting up 34.5 points per game over his last 10 outings on absurd efficiency. His shot-making, whether from deep, mid-range, or at the rim, is borderline unguardable right now. The Thunder's defense has been the backbone of their success, locking teams down and making it tough to get anything easy. And when they get stops, it's a quick transition to offense, with SGA orchestrating everything like a maestro. This matchup is going to be all about who can impose their will. The Knicks have had issues with the Thunder historically, losing 8 of their last 10 meetings, but this is a different New York team. They're clicking on all cylinders, with a balanced attack and a defensive effort that's second best in the league over the past 9 games. That said, OKC's home court advantage is no joke. They're 14-3 in their house this season, and that energy will be palpable. One big factor to keep an eye on is the health of Alex Caruso for OKC. If he's not suiting up, the Thunder could be missing a crucial perimeter defender, which might open things up for Brunson and the Knicks' backcourt. On the flip side, the Knicks will need both Brunson and Miles McBride to be ready to roll. McBride might not be the headliner, but his steady hand off the bench is a big reason why New York's second unit has been so effective. The chess match between Brunson and SGA is going to be the highlight here. Brunson's poise and ability to run the show under pressure will go head-to-head with SGA's explosiveness and knack for making the impossible look routine. Meanwhile, in the paint, KT and Isaiah Hartenstein are set to battle it out, and that could end up being a deciding factor. If Towns can dominate the boards and keep OKC's second chance points in check, New York has a real shot. This one feels like it's going down to the wire. While I can't see the Thunder cooling off completely, the Knicks have been too good lately to count out. If Brunson and McBride are in the lineup, I'm leaning towards New York covering the 6-point spread and maybe even pulling off the upset. But hey, do yourself a favor. Check those injury reports before you lock in anything. This game has all the makings of a thriller, and 1 or 2 absences could swing things big time. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Dallas Mavericks. The Cleveland Cavaliers are on fire, and it's hard not to jump on the bandwagon with how they've been playing. They're sitting pretty at the top of the Eastern Conference with a league best 28-4 record, and honestly, they're making it look easy. Coming into this one, the Cavs have strung together 7 straight wins, including a dominant performance against the Warriors in their last outing. Whether it's at home or on the road, they're just clicking on all cylinders. Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley are controlling the paint like it's their personal playground. Allen put up a monster line against the Lakers, dropping 27 points and grabbing 14 boards while making all the hustle plays that don't show up in the box score. Add in Donovan Mitchell's smooth 26 points and Darius Garland's floor general skills 14 assists, by the way, and this team just keeps finding ways to win. Let's not forget about Karis LeVert off the bench either. The dude is a walking microwave, shooting a ridiculous 47.1% from deep and making defenses pay every time they sag off him. Now, let's talk Dallas. Things aren't exactly sunny in Big D. The Mavericks are trying to keep their heads above water, but this 3-game skid has them looking shaky. Losing to Houston 110-99 last time out? That's not a good look, especially with Luka Doncic sidelined. Without Luka, the offense feels disjointed, and while Kyrie Irving has had his moments, they need a lot more from guys like Klay Thompson, who hasn't been the consistent threat they need. PJ Washington's status is up in the air, so Maxi Kleber might get more run, but he's been ice cold lately, scoring just 5 points across his last 3 games. If Kleber doesn't step up, Dallas is in for a rough night. The Mavs are a respectable 10-5 at home, which gives them some hope, but this matchup feels like an uphill battle. Cleveland's just too deep, and their defense has been smothering. They're 11-4 against the spread on the road and 12-3 straight up away from home. This team knows how to handle business when traveling, and they've proven they can lock in no matter the venue. If Dallas wants to have a shot here, they'll need to get creative. Ball movement has to be sharp, and they'll need to get something going inside to slow down Allen and Mobley. But honestly, even if they manage that, Cleveland's depth just feels like too much to overcome. Guys like LeVert and Garland can torch you even if the starters aren't having their best night. Right now, the Cavs are the definition of a ride-the-hot-hand team. Betting against them feels like setting money on fire. They're sitting at 70.3% against the spread this season. Only the Thunder have been better at cashing tickets. I'm rolling with Cleveland here. They're too dialed in, too balanced, and they've got the momentum to keep this streak alive. I see them controlling this game early and putting it out of reach before the Mavs can find their footing. Give me the Cavs to win and cover minus a 5-point spread. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the San Antonio Spurs and Denver Nuggets. The Spurs rolling into Denver to face the Nuggets is shaping up to be one heck of a showdown. Both squads have been buzzing lately, and there's plenty to unpack with how these teams match up. Let's start with San Antonio. These guys are punching way above their weight this season, sitting at 17-16 and turning heads in the Western Conference. Under interim coach Mitch Johnson, they've been playing like they've got something to prove. And let's not kid ourselves, Victor Wembanyama is the guy. The rookie's putting up 25.6 points and grabbing 10 boards a night, making it clear why he's already being called the future of the league. But Wemby's not doing it alone. Chris Paul's veteran presence has been huge, keeping the offense under control and schooling the young guns on the finer points of the game. Paul's been healthy, too, which is rare these days, and his steady hand has made a massive difference. Around Wembanyama, guys like Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Jeremy Sochan are stepping up, and their defense? Rock solid. This team is hustling on every possession and making it tough for opponents to get into any kind of rhythm. On the other side, you've got Denver, who's coming in hot with a 19-13 record. They just lit up the Hawks for 139 points, and Nikola Jokic? What can you say? The guy's a basketball wizard. He dropped another ridiculous triple-double with 23 points, 17 rebounds, and 15 assists. At this point, those stat lines almost feel normal for him, but trust me, they're anything but. Jokic makes the Nuggets tick, plain and simple. Jamal Murray is looking better each game, which is a big deal for Denver's ceiling. They need him firing on all cylinders to really go deep this season. Michael Porter Jr. has been solid as long as he sticks to his strengths, and then there's Russell Westbrook. Say what you want about Russ, but the dude has found his groove in Denver. His energy and playmaking off the bench have been a huge spark, though depth is still an issue for this team. They've got a strong starting five, but things get dicey when they go to the bench. Last time these two met, the Spurs pulled off a wild upset back in April, sneaking out a 121-120 win as heavy underdogs. This season, though, both teams have leveled up. The Spurs have been absolute money lately, covering in 7 straight games. They're a scrappy group, keeping things close even in losses to heavyweights like the Timberwolves and 76ers. But there's a catch, they've been way better at home than on the road. Away from San Antonio, their record dips, and it shows in their play. Now, the Nuggets at home? That's a whole different beast. The altitude alone is a problem, and they've got one of the best home court advantages in the league. They're dialed in right now, riding a 3-game win streak, even if it came against weaker competition. Still, it's tough to bet against them when they're clicking like this. Here's the deal, I'm rolling with the Spurs to cover the 8-point spread. I know Denver's the heavy favorite, and they've got Jokic doing Jokic things, but San Antonio's been grinding, and their confidence is through the roof. This game feels like it's going to be closer than the oddsmakers think. Denver might walk away with the W, but the Spurs aren't going down easy. Bet on them to keep it tight. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Memphis Grizzlies and Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings and Memphis Grizzlies are gearing up for a showdown that's bound to bring some drama. On one side, we've got a Grizzlies squad riding the momentum of a gritty 117-112 win over the Phoenix Suns. Jaren Jackson Jr. was on another level, dropping 38 points, while Desmond Bane backed him up with a solid 31. Memphis is looking like a team on a mission this season, shaking off early setbacks and proving they're more than just Ja Morant's highlight reel. Ja's suspension earlier in the season threw a wrench in their plans, but since his return, Memphis has been cooking. What stands out about this team is their depth and versatility. They've got the 5th best defensive rating in the league, putting up 123.2 points per 100 possessions, and their defense is even nastier, sitting 4th in advanced metrics. Sure, they can be a little turnover prone because of their fast-paced, transition-heavy style, but when it clicks, it's a thing of beauty. That win against Phoenix was a classic example, locking down the Suns' shooters and dominating the boards with 16 offensive rebounds. This team knows how to scrap. Now, let's talk about the Kings. Sacramento's been a roller coaster this season, sitting at 15-19. Their recent win over the 76ers, 113-107, was nice on paper, but Philly didn't have Joel Embiid, so it's hard to read too much into it. De'Aaron Fox was doing his thing with 35 points, and Malik Monk chipped in with 20, but it still feels like this team hasn't figured out its identity. It's been a weird season for Sacramento. They made some big moves in the offseason, bringing in DeMar DeRozan to pair with Fox and Domantas Sabonis, but the chemistry hasn't quite clicked. Then there's the drama. Mike Brown got the boot way too early, and rumors about Fox possibly being on the trade block aren't helping. The Kings have talent, but the vibes are just off. Offensively, they're decent, ranking 8th in the league, but their defense is shaky, giving up 114.1 points per 100 possessions. If there's one thing Sacramento does well, it's taking care of the ball. That's going to be key against Memphis, who thrive on turning mistakes into fast break points. Sabonis will need to be a force inside, and Fox has to control the tempo to keep the Grizzlies from running wild. The problem is, the Kings have been awful as home favorites this season, with a brutal 5-10-2 record against the spread. That doesn't inspire much confidence. Memphis, on the other hand, has been a sneaky good road team. They've got a 9-7 record away from home and are one of the best teams against the spread at 23-11. Even with a laundry list of injuries, they find ways to compete. That depth is no joke, and they've shown they can handle adversity. Honestly, I'm not sold on Sacramento pulling it together here. They've been too inconsistent, and their wins against undermanned teams don't move the needle for me. Meanwhile, Memphis is proving they've got that grit and grind DNA, even with some of their key players sidelined. I like the Grizzlies to cover the plus 4.5 point spread. They've got the toughness and depth to get the job done, and I just can't trust the Kings to flip the switch overnight. Let's roll with Memphis in this one. The sixth prediction for today is for a game between the Atlanta Hawks and Los Angeles Lakers. The Hawks are flying into Los Angeles for a showdown with the Lakers, and honestly, this matchup has all the makings of a tricky one for both squads. Atlanta has been the definition of streaky this season. One moment they're on a roll with 6 straight wins, the next they're losing 4 out of 5. Just when they seemed to bounce back with 4 more wins, they got smoked by the Nuggets, 139-120. Sitting 7th in the East with an 18-16 record, they've shown flashes of brilliance, but still lack the consistency to string it all together. This Hawks squad thrives on playing fast, second fastest pace in the league, and it's all orchestrated by Trae Young. He's been their maestro, dishing out dimes like candy and dropping 22.3 points a game. They rack up points in a hurry, ranking 3rd in scoring, but the offense still isn't quite elite, sitting middle of the pack in offensive rating. Their defense has improved, thanks to Dyson Daniels adding some serious grit on that end, leading the league in steals. Jalen Johnson has been a breakout star at the 4, but the injury bug hasn't been kind to this team. Bogdan Bogdanović hasn't been able to find his rhythm, and now he's sidelined again, with Trae Young and Johnson both questionable for this one. That's a lot to overcome, especially in the middle of a brutal road trip. On the flip side, the Lakers have been solid lately. They've won 6 of their last 8 games and are sitting comfortably in 6th place out west with a 19-14 record. LeBron James continues to be an ageless wonder. The man just turned 40 and still looks like he's got plenty left in the tank. He's been lights out from deep lately, hitting 14 of his last 24 threes, and just put up 38 points against Portland. The supporting cast has had its moments too. Max Christie had a career night recently, and Austin Reeves keeps doing the little things to help this team win. That said, the Lakers have their own issues to deal with. Anthony Davis has been listed as questionable after tweaking his ankle on Christmas, and you never know what the injury report will look like with this team on a back-to-back. New additions like Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton haven't made a big splash yet, but there's potential for them to step up as the season progresses. This game could really go either way, and it feels like the kind of spot where you just have to read the tea leaves. The Hawks are in the middle of a grueling road trip, which is never ideal. They've got injuries piling up and just got run off the floor by Denver. On the other hand, the Lakers have been rock solid at home this season, going 10-4 at Crypto.com Arena, but fatigue from a back-to-back could be a factor, especially if Davis sits again. If I'm betting on this one, I'm staying away from picking a winner. There are just too many question marks with the lineups. Instead, I'm looking at the total points. The Lakers play at a much slower tempo, and with both teams dealing with injuries to key players, I see this one being more of a grinded-out type of game. I'm leaning toward the total staying under 232.5 points. If the Lakers can slow things down and force the Hawks into a half-court game, it'll be tough for Atlanta to get into their rhythm. Either way, keep an eye on those injury reports before locking anything in. It's going to be a game of adjustments.